We all love the sound of money, and a $1,500 sign-on bonus sounds even better. That's right, Bellisio Foods of Jackson is offering a $1,500 sign-on bonus to new employees. Receive an extra $100 your first 6 weeks, then $400 after day 90, and $500 after day 180. Don't wait. Apply online at BellisioFoods.com/careers today. That's BellisioFoods.com/careers. Come work for a company who truly values their employees. Come work for Bellisio Foods.
Show some love for the graduating seniors in your life with custom-made gear from Zip Printing in Jackson. Yard signs, banners, screen-printed t-shirts, and more. Zip Printing can do it all. Visit yourtotalmedia.shop to browse all of Zip's gear to show your school spirit for the class of 22. Zip also has everything you need for graduation parties like custom photo cards, invitations, and napkins. Call 740-286-3023 or find them on Facebook at Zip Printing Signs and Marketing.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the morning show right here on Main Street TV. Of course, Jennifer here with our good friend Pete Wilson, the guy that knows all about everything that's going on.
No, if I did that, I'd be somewhere else.
Well, at least locally. How's that?
Okay, well, we try. I'll go that far. I'll say that much. I won't say much more than that.
All right. And of course, morning news update is here this morning, brought to you by Nia Henry, agent for Appalachia Realty. And if you're looking to buy or sell or have any real estate needs, give Nia a call, 740-418-4135, and she'll work hard for you. And we don't have a cycle search clue anymore, Pete.
My gosh, Corey Smith has got that.
I know.
Got that motorbike probably by now, right?
Probably.
And the weather might be good enough to go out and try it out.
It's looking good for the weekend, that's for sure.
Right, okay. Well,
everyone's grass is going to be knee-high.
My gosh.
If it's not already.
From the 30s to the 80s in 1 week. Crazy, right?
Nuts, I tell you.
All right. Okay, well, at the top of the news, we have a major piece of downtown real estate that is on the auction block, on the bidding block, I guess you could say. And that is the Jackson County Courthouse Annex. There at the corner of Main and Portsmouth Street, faces Portsmouth Street. The county commissioners announced recently that they're going to vacate the building and put it up for a public bid. It is being publicly advertised now in the Telegram. They're in the legal section. And the minimum bid is $230,000. There you see the Jackson County Courthouse Annex. Some people do not know it by that name.
I was going to say that's a little confusing to people, I think.
That's what it's 275 Portsmouth Street.
Yep.
That's what the county has called it since they've occupied it, and it's been some time now. And they did that to alleviate crowding in the courthouse a little bit. The commissioners came down there, the Board of Elections, which had been in the basement of the courthouse, they came down there. The EMS office is there, maybe a few others over time. But right now, the election board has, of course, gone to a new location on South Street.
Yes.
And that just leaves the commissioners and the EMS. So they've got on the right side of the building there, that's where the elections board was. That's vacated now. And so they're figuring that they can go somewhere else and maybe sell that building for a gain for the county. The minimum bid is $230,000 is what they've set that as. And one of the reasons they're doing it is, they have some room in there. They don't need the whole building. They have some other places they can go. That begs the question, where are they going to go when they sell it?
That's the $1 million question I've been asked by like 7 million people. And I'm like, I don't know.
Well, at a meeting, our Philip Buffington, who covers the commissioners, asked that question.
Sure.
And the only thing they would say is they have several options.
Okay.
They're not worrying, maybe it could be, maybe they don't know for sure. Maybe the EMS will go one place, the commissioners will go another place or whatever.
They could divide up.
But they feel that they can definitely sell that, for a gain. They don't need it, and it'll be, a better setup all the way around. But how it's going to work, Jennifer, will be advertised. I think it started last week, actually, in the Telegram. It'll be advertised for 4 weeks, and then there will be a bid opening on Tuesday, May the 17th at the commissioner. So sometime between May 17th, if you're interested, you turn in your sealed bid there. It has to be at least $230,000. And one of the other reasons they're doing it is we all know that the real estate market is hot right now.
Yes, it is.
It seems like that.
On fire.
Yeah. I can remember when, I was trying to sell a house or buy a house. I was always on the wrong end of it now. Now, it seems like even for residential property in many places, you get better than the list price.
Yeah.
Which, there used to be the asking price and the selling price. Now there's the asking price and then the higher selling price.
Yes, exactly.
So not saying that that's going to be that way here, but that was one of the reasons that the commissioners wanted to sell that property right now. It surprised me a little bit, but that building has a long history in Jackson. It was home to a car dealership at one time.
It was, in fact, Mark Carmen's dad, I think, owned a dealership there.
Bob Carmen's Pontiac was there.
Yeah.
And
Carmen is a little kid over there working. Isn't that cute?
Right. Speaking of Carmen, do you know that this is his 50th year anniversary?
No.
In the car business or in the vehicle business? Absolutely. We'll have to get more into that a little bit later. 50 years for our good friend Mark Carmen.
Isn't that nuts?
But I digress. That building later became short-term the home of the Jackson Area YMCA. Do you remember that?
That's how I remember it, as the YMCA.
Right, and then the YMCA later purchased the building that was known as the gym. That was built by several local men, and it was kind of a fitness center, but it was privately owned. But then it was perfect, much larger for the YMCA. They had a gymnasium there and everything.
Yeah.
And so at some point, don't even remember the year, but it's been a while. The county bought that building for extra office space, just of course a block from the county courthouse. But time changes, things keep changing, and now they're vacating the building for other locations. All right, speaking of building, the Wellston City School District had some very positive news at their last school board meeting, which was last Monday evening. They are moving ahead on a major construction project that involves a new weight room and field house at the high school, as well as some very important HVAC upgrades at Bundy Elementary School.
Oh.
And one of the reasons that they're able to do this is that they've got what is called, from the federal government, it's called Elementary and Secondary School Emergency Relief Grants. And that is basically COVID-19 relief money that goes to schools. Because it's ESSR is the acronym there. And they are going to be able to spend $348,010 for the preparatory work to do these two projects, the HVA upgrades and the gymnasium and the field house and weight room at the high school. That whole project is going to be more than $1 million before they're done.
Wow.
But with this ESSR money, they feel they could move ahead, do the planning work, save a lot of money doing that. And they hope that everything on these two projects will be completed by August or September of 2023. So that's not this year, that's next year. This money that they talked about and that they improved with the architects and all, it's only to do architectural work, planning work, engineering work. It all has to be done on a public project before you move ahead with actual construction.
Yeah,
but
a lot of people don't understand that and how long that process is and how expensive that process is.
It takes a while. The train is on the track, and a lot of times this is the thing that stops some of our local entities from doing things. You might be able to get a grant to build something, but then you're on the hook either through matching money or to do the engineering and architectural work up front.
And it is.
And if it's a big project, right here we're saying $348,000. It boggles your mind, but
Yep.
that's what it costs to do these things. So, but anyway, on track there for the Wellston City School District. Okay, Red Thompson Jr. has done a good job, even won an award for an editorial he wrote about pushing this Garrett Ridge water line project.
Yes.
And I think we can all put ourselves in the shoes of those residents. You like where you live, but my golly, you don't have public water lines.
Right.
You're hauling water or whatever
Tough.
Whatever process you do. That would be such a pain to have to do that. And so they have been looking for federal, state money, anybody to give them money to be able to extend these water lines out in the Garrett Ridge area, which is on the western end of the county, kind of in a more remote area, a lot of hills. There's not, it's not heavily populated, so that makes it makes it harder to fund because, you don't have as many paying customers. The terrain is a problem there, but there's salt tables down in the groundwater. The well water is not always necessarily the best or even safe to use.
Correct.
So this is a real public safety problem. Well, maybe some more progress was made yesterday there. We can't give you the good news that the project is funded, but all these people that you see there in the picture that James has just posted, they came together in MacArthur on Tuesday to talk about a possible funding plan. One of the new possible players is the United States Department of Agriculture. But there were some important folks here. John Kerry, our own John Kerry from Wellston, who is the director of the Governor's Office of Appalachia.
Yes.
He is kind of like the liaison between our area and the governor's office and the state legislature. He was there to try to do what he can from the state side. You remember that the Appalachian Regional Commission co-chair Gail Manchin visited the area actually not about last year to try to raise awareness, and they were hoping that might lead to something. So they all got together yesterday. The commissioners were there. The Vinton County Development Office were there to talk about a possible funding plan. Once again, no money has been awarded, but they're trying to figure out where they can get the money and what kind of package they can put together so they can do it. One of the other folks there that we know very well was Jackson County Water Manager Larry Foster.
I see him up there.
Yeah, the Jackson County Water Company has done a lot of the public water projects, not only in Jackson County, but in Vinton County, and it would be the main company at least doing the work, but they're a private company and they can't put up all that money out front, but they can serve the water customers once the lines are all done and supervise the construction and all like that. They've done that for 30 or 40 years. So Red has a story going in Saturday's paper. We're going to take a look at it and get that in, and that will tell you where that project is as we hope it's moving forward. And I think we have a companion video to show you right now that Red took up there talking to the officials and the folks who are trying to make this happen.
Okay, we'll start with Larry Foster, and he was talking about the dynamics of this project and why it needs grant funded.
Yeah, it's primarily just because the area is sparsely populated. It doesn't minimize the need for the residents out there who are in stark need of safe drinking water, but just because the per customer cost is going to be so high, we're going to need a lot of grant money to leverage the project. And we're looking forward to hopefully some of the meetings that we've had, some of the agencies that have been involved, look like there may be some positive results that may come from that. And we're just optimistic. We're still working.
Okay, the water company, what's your role going to be when all this gets started? What will the water company be doing out here?
Well, we're going to be out here trying to talk to all the people and see who all is interested and who doesn't have safe drinking water. Our goal with the water company is to get as many people as we can safe drinking water.
And Commissioner, you've been in this. I know that you call them a lot. And you said Vinton County never quits on anything. We didn't quit on the grocery store, and you don't want to quit on this.
No, as commissioner, I've been fighting for this water project for the last 6 years. Talking to about every branch that I could talk to. We've been fighting, me and the other commissioners, to see this project happen. We're not going to give up on it. There's been times when it seemed like all hope was gone, but I would call Larry and start stirring the pot again, and basically somebody would hear about it, from the governor's office or CCAO, somebody like that. And we're thankful today that they're starting to come in and just putting a lot of pressure on different people and asking for help, because Garrett Ridge, the people on Garrett Ridge, I feel, is just as important as anyone else in the county or the state as far as that's concerned. I believe that they ought to have safe drinking water.
Okay, Larry, I want to finish this with you. There's an emergency aspect to this. Salt, bacteria, different issues the health department has written about, the schools. Would that play into your pitch that there's an emergency aspect to this?
Yeah, obviously we want to look at the health effects of the water that people are putting up with right now, and we want to try to alleviate that that concern by getting them safe, treated public water. So yeah, there's an urgency here. It's to improve the quality of life for individuals, but also it's a health concern, and we just want to address that. Try to remove that if we can.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen.
All right. Well, we thank Red Thompson Jr. for taking that video. It gives us a closer up perspective, hearing from some of the principals involved there. Larry Foster, of course, spoke there during that video. Also, Vinton County Commissioner Mark Fout. So we will certainly be following that story. It is such an important one in Vinton County, and especially for those residents who are in dire need of water.
It's amazing the things you take for granted, Pete. You know,
the water coming out of that faucet,
water
right?
comes out of your faucet. Like, you don't think anything about it. And
well,
the fact that you have to work for that or go get water, you know, that's insane.
They're in Vinton County. I'll have to admit, I've heard from Red, there's a level of frustration because right now, because of the COVID and all the relief money, and right now the stance of the federal government in as far as, you know, making much more money available for everything.
Sure.
To not have money for something like this, it kind of is a head shaker there.
It is. And
money's always been available for things like that, but you think now with the spigot, with the money spigot running the way it has lately,
that's right.
Infrastructure bills passed and so forth, it seems like there's a lot of money for everything. And why wouldn't there be money for this? I think that's a fair question.
It is a fair question.
All right. Well, we move closer to where we are now, and the city of Jackson got some news to report from there, Jennifer. And the Jackson City Council is going to have a what they call Police, Fire, and Traffic Committee meeting this next Monday evening. It's going to be at 6 o'clock. It will be before the regular council meeting at 7 o'clock. And now, of course, the council committees are comprised of the entire council. So most of the if not all the council, should be there. But they are seriously talking about, as a matter of fact, unless they change their course, they're probably going to commission a traffic study for the city of Jackson. Now, that's important. One of the reasons it's important is they always want public input on this. So you can get with a councilman, you can get with the administration and tell them what you think about the traffic study in general, doing it. But more specifically, they would like to know what should we include in the study? Because, you know, you're going to hire an expert consulting company to do it, so it's going to cost some money. So you want to do it the right way. You want to get the right answers. You want to look at the right so-called issues and problems. But what they're going to do, according to discussions at other meetings when they were talking about the traffic study issue, was to look at intersections. Should there be a traffic light there? Should there not be a traffic light there? Should this street really be one way? Or should we make it one way? Should we not have parking along this street? A lot of those kind of questions.
Okay.
Right. And a company would come in.
That's a lot.
A company would come in if they decide to do it, and they would make recommendations. It wouldn't be the law, but obviously if you're asking, you know, an expert to figure out what's best, they should know. We don't know exactly what it would cost, but an estimate is a base cost of $17,500 plus a cost per intersection. You know, that's a volume add-on to what it would cost, and I'm not even sure how long it would take, but it would answer some of the questions. You know, people say, well, why is there a traffic light there? Or why shouldn't there be a traffic light there?
Right.
Why is that a four-way stop or whatever? Or should that be a four-way stop? All those questions would be answered in this traffic study as far as what the city chose to have studied. You know, that's the second step. If you're going to have a traffic study, what are you going to study? They're going to study what you ask them to. You know, a lot of people think there should be fewer traffic lights. Of course, that speeds up traffic. You know, could that possibly be a problem? So this was all triggered, Jennifer, when they made a traffic control change at the intersection of Bridge and State Street.
Yes.
Remember, we had 3 traffic lights there, and I think a stop sign. And and there's a one-way street coming out of there to Walnut Street. But because of a wreck, it knocked out one of the traffic lights, and because they're synchronized, none of them could work. So they had to come up with some temporary traffic thing until they could get the traffic light fixed. Well, they came up with a temporary plan that they thought might be better than having the traffic lights, or put the traffic lights back. And that was making a section of Bridge Street on the southwest side of that intersection, Bridge Street, one way. Mm-hmm. As a result, there's no traffic lights coming from Bridge Street to State Street from the other direction, or on State Street coming into Bridge Street. It's continuous, so the flow is better. Now, there's people who live on the other side of Bridge Street, on that southwest side of Bridge Street. They can't get out that way now because it's one way. They're not happy about that.
I could see that.
Gerald Entler has come. He's a resident who lives on Broad Street. He's come to at least 3 meetings to say that
I've been doing this for 30 years. Why now all of a sudden I can't go the same way?
Yeah, he says at least look at this thing. Maybe consider moving it back. And he even brought a petition with the signatures from 31 residents who live in that area.
Okay.
Nobody but he has come to the meetings, but he did bring that petition as well. The city hasn't said they wouldn't change it back, but that triggered this discussion from David Swackhammer, the service director. He's a very detailed guy, and he did some research, and he found out that even in a town, if you're going to remove a light, remove a stop sign, you're supposed to do a traffic study to legitimize it, to authorize it.
Makes sense.
Right. And so then that triggered a discussion about other intersections and other traffic lights and one-way streets and whatever. So this Monday evening at 6 o'clock, prior to the regular council meeting, Police Fire Traffic Committee meeting to talk about possibly doing a traffic study. And there was favorable talk basically on council about doing it, that maybe we ought to do this. And secondly, if we do a traffic study, what intersections, what lights, what stop signs, what one-way streets should we look at for evaluation?
Mm-hmm.
So, if you want to weigh in on that, this is your chance. We had that story in Wednesday's paper. We posted a version of it on Facebook. It got quite a bit of response. People jumping on saying, why don't you do this or do this? Some people questioning why there should be a traffic study. If it's going to cost money, can't you figure it out for yourself? So, it's all over the map on what people are responding to that. But it will definitely affect a lot of people.
And, Pete, here's the point. Participate in the meeting.
That's what
that's what they're asking you to do. It's a public meeting.
That's what some of the councilmen do. It kind of confounds them and frustrates them. They do these actions, or they have discussions, or they draft an ordinance, but they don't pass it immediately with the idea we'll allow for public feedback. They don't get any, or they get very little. Then they do it, and then all hell breaks loose. What did you do? You didn't ask me.
If you don't participate, it's kind of like voting. Then don't complain about it if you don't participate.
It's part of the democratic process. So that story we do have posted, on our website. It was on the front page in Wednesday's paper, so you can check that out. We do have a link on Facebook that I know people have checked out as well. Now, that is a story. It may not be a big crisis tragedy story or anything about a tax, but it affects everybody that drives, as well as pedestrians that try to cross the streets and so forth. But I think in general, council and some of the administration is leaning towards having a better flow of traffic.
Sure.
Maybe thinking about some places where we really don't need a stoplight.
Well, it's always kind of ironic, you move out of the big city to come to live in, a smaller town where you don't have to deal with as much traffic. But, our small towns get gummed up too. And so that needs addressed, and it needs thought about to make sure that people can, flow down Main Street and all of that.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
You can't just not do anything.
No, and sometimes things change over the years. Maybe at some point, a traffic light was needed, or maybe at some point the traffic has increased, and maybe a traffic light is needed and it wasn't before.
Well, look, if you don't think Veterans Drive, for example, is of importance to our city, thank God for it. Remember when they had to repair it and you couldn't get up and down Main Street? It was horrific. So
right. It was tough.
It was tough, and so it does matter. Traffic flows matter.
Right, and
of course, take it for granted.
Right, and just talking about Main Street, you can play the devil's advocate on this. You remove some stoplights, the traffic's going to flow better, but you might have trouble getting out of some of the side streets.
Correct.
But if you have a lot of traffic lights, even on lightly used side streets, it's just the traffic seems gummed up, and it leads to more congestion.
Well, and that's why you ask the experts, right?
Right. They do their traffic counts.
That's what they do.
They do their traffic counts and all like that. And you can even discard their recommendation at the end of the day. It's up to you. All right. Another thing where the city of Jackson officials are looking for public compliance, really, more than participation. Yep. More than a year ago, not quite a year ago, it was actually in late April, council passed an ordinance that they thought was important, or maybe it was a resolution, same thing, legislation. And they never really promoted it or enforced it afterwards. They just hoped there was voluntary compliance, and they feel like there really hasn't been. House numbering, visible house numbering. Of course, you have a property, it's probably got an address. All right, whether you're a business or a resident, you got an address. Mine's 253 West South Street. It is the law now. 1 year ago, it was the law. You've got to have what is called a visible and legible house number or business number that you can see from the street. This is important for potential emergencies.
Okay.
You've got an EMS situation, a medical situation at your house. You've got a fire. The firefighters and the police may know generally where a street is and where a house might be, but they're looking for an address, especially at night.
Right.
And, they don't see a number. I mean, that could be a critical thing. There is a visible house number right there that I ran as an example. Now, it has to be in Arabic numbers. You can't have it in script or anything. And you've got to be able, the general rule is you've got to be able to see it from the street pavement. It's got to be legible enough and large enough that you can see.
Okay.
It can be on your house. It can be on your mailbox. It can be on your walk out front, but you have to be able to see it from the street. So too many places don't have this right now in the city of Jackson. So right now they are seeking voluntary compliance. Jackson Police Chief Brent Hinch was there. He said that on a case-by-case basis, when they see a problem, they will let a resident know, hey, listen, you need a house number. Now, they never mentioned enforcement, but I got a copy of the ordinance, and technically, this ordinance was passed on April the 12th, by the way. Technically, violation of the ordinance calls for the enforcement provision. It's an unclassified misdemeanor and could result in a fine not exceeding $100. Okay, now that's a lot of money for not having a house number.
I promise they're cheap. Just go buy house numbers.
But get this, the letter of the law is that each successive day following a failure to comply constitutes a new and separate offense. So $100, $100, $100. Now, the city, I don't think is going to do that, but it's in the letter of the law.
Just go to Walmart or Lowe's or Amazon or somewhere and buy some numbers and stick on your house.
Right.
Plus, it is a safety thing. If you
it
call
is.
911 and you need
Right.
help or whatever, and they can't find your house.
Right. And what if the pizza guy can't find your house? My gosh.
Exactly.
Exactly. Or the DoorDash guy.
Or DoorDash or Grubhub or whoever you order from. I mean, that's catastrophic.
No.
Stuff.
Right. So, you've got these things too where it matters. but anyway, the council people and Mr. Swackhammer, a couple of the council people and Mr. Swackhammer thought it would be a great public service thing for a group, youth group, school group, service group, to maybe go around and sell house numbers.
Oh.
Because, they figure there might be better participation that way. First of all, you have the opportunity to buy a house number. Somebody comes to your door offering to sell one. You're not looking for one in a store.
Yeah.
Or ordering one or anything like that. Plus, you're helping some small group or some school group or service group raise a little bit of money for their coffers and a good cause.
Yep.
So now there isn't a service group that's been designated to do that, but that could happen because, they feel that's one way that they could get compliance as well. Another way is to put it out there in the media and the social media. That's part of why we're talking about it right now.
That's right.
We expect to have a story probably in Saturday's paper. We'll be posting that online as well.
Okay.
All right, Jennifer. Also in the city of Jackson, we have, once again, a city tree commission.
What?
A city tree commission.
A city tree commission?
Tree, T-R-E-E.
Okay.
Here are the members of the new city tree commission. And I say new because the city has had a tree commission for many years. They've been very active. You see them on Arbor Day planting trees. That's the big thing.
Yeah.
But they also, are able to address any issue involving trees, including their possible removal, if they're in a bad place or whatever. And it affects the public, which some trees are planted on the public right away. And that gives the city the right to, remove them if there's a problem. But they determined that the current administration, they weren't even maybe going to have a tree commission anymore. It kind of became dormant. It wasn't eliminated, but it became dormant. And
Pun
now,
intended.
Right. Well, not really. But it's reactivated now. Reactivated now. And these are the 5 members of the new tree commission. You see them up there
No, that's good.
on your monitor. And from the left, the citizens who are on that tree commission are Crystal Finch, Bev Ondera, and Bren Stepp. And standing in the back, that's Service Director David Swackhammer and Second Ward Council Member Harold Newkirk. They are the City Tree Commission members. They've had one meeting. They're going to have another one in May. They're getting organized. They have organized, as a matter of fact. Nothing with Arbor Day this year, but look for them to come back next year and do that.
So good.
Maybe come up with some ideas on where to plant trees on public places or even on private places if the property owner would want to do that. They're also looking at trees that may need removed that are too close to the street and that are causing problems for the city when they do paving and curb work and like that. The city does have the right to remove trees if they're on the public right of way.
Okay.
All right, so they're looking at some trees, as a matter of fact, along Morton Street that might fall into this category because there's, of course, that big paving project coming up this summer, that State City project where State Route 93 will be paved all the way through town, all the way to where it hits the Appalachian Highway, State Route 32. That is all the way from one end of town, almost all the way through town, almost all the way through the other end of town. So that's
gonna be
coming
a rough
up,
one too.
and that's why you see all the curb work going on right now in preparation for that. All right, royalty.
Lots of it.
We had the Apple Festival girls last weekend, the little and the older. This weekend we have even more. The Wild Turkey Festival is going to have 2 pageants this weekend, and the Jackson County Fair is going to have 3 pageants this weekend.
Oh my goodness.
Exactly. But the Wild Turkey Festival, of course, it's coming up the first full weekend in May. I'm going to give you the names of the girls who are trying out for, I don't want to say the big
Just
queen.
say the queen.
The queen, right. The queen, right. The older girls. The members are who are trying out, and there are 9 of them. Ella Clancy, Bailey Williams, Chloe Habron, Ella Graham, Macy Montgomery, Cassandra Peoples, Casey Carty, Jordan Houston, and Lakin Williams. Now, their pictures are published in our Wednesday edition of the paper. You can see those on one of our back pages. The little girls, they're going to do, for the first time ever, the Turkey Festival is doing the Little Miss Wild Turkey Festival.
Fun, so exciting.
That's going to be on Sunday afternoon at 2. The big girls are going to be on Saturday evening at 7.
Okay.
Both of them at Vinton County High School.
So Saturday and Sunday.
Right. And the little girls who are trying out to be the first ever history-making Little Miss Wild Turkey Festival are Adeline Saunders, Angela Kane, Phoenix Literal, Amaya Goodwin, Kensley McCoy, Harmony Huntley, and Paige Robinot. So good luck to all those young girls who are trying out to be Wild Turkey Festival royalty. And remember, May 5 through 8, the dates for the Wild Turkey Festival. We'll be hearing much more about that on the radio. We'll be seeing and hearing about that on Main Street TV, and there'll be a lot to read about and see in the Telegram as well, so stay tuned.
Yes.
All right. This is a little bit of a change. I think I mentioned this earlier in the week when we did our news roundup. The Jackson County Fair is doing its royalty pageants for the upcoming 2002 Jackson County Fair earlier this year. Their pageants are going to be this weekend, Saturday, and Friday evening at the Jackson County Extension Office. The first pageant will be on Friday evening and is the Little Miss and Little Mister contest. It will be at 7 p.m. at the Jackson County Extension Office there, State Route 93 and Standpipe Road. And any young lady or young man ages kindergarten through the 2nd grade can just show up and be contestants for Little Miss and Little Mister.
Okay.
There's no pre-registration or anything like that. They try to make it as simple as possible. The public is open to go to these pageants on Friday and Saturday. The cost is $4 per person. The Little Miss and Little Mister will be determined at Friday night's contest, but those 2 youngsters will not be crowned until the opening night of the Jackson County Fair. The much bigger night is Saturday night. That's when they're going to pick the new Jackson County Fair Queen, as well as the grade level attendants. We're talking about grades 3 and 4, grades 5 and 6, grades 7 and 8, grades 9 and 10. All those girls, pictures of all those girls, as well as profiles, are printed in the Wednesday edition of the Telegram.
It's just a paper full of queens.
We had to give up some space to the queens, but we care, so we did it.
No, that's so good, though.
So they're in there.
That's so exciting for them.
It is. It's a big thing for them. I'm sure you remember about trying out for Horse Queen.
I mean, when I tried out for the Horse Queen,
it was quite a ride.
It was quite a ride. Yeah. It was a long process, too, because we had to compete in several horse shows that was part of it.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay.
It was. It wasn't just one contest.
All right. You won because you're the horsey type, right?
The horsey type, yes.
Okay. Well, anyway, congratulations on that.
Thanks.
You know what they say? I am and always will be the 1992 Jackson County Fair Horse Queen.
That's right. I have to remember what year it was. It was like 90 or 91 or something like that.
I probably shouldn't have given that out, should I?
It was a few years ago, Pete. That's it. All
right. Okay. Well, anyway, the contest on Saturday night for Fair Queen and those grade level attendants is at 6 p.m. They're going to do it all in one night, just like Santa Claus does Christmas. All right. Yep. It's going to be, and Marley's Ghost and all that. They did it all in one night.
Yes.
6 p.m. at the Jackson County Extension Office. $4 will get you in for the whole thing. And they're going to actually pick and announce the winners. The crowning, though, will not take place until Sunday, July 17th. That is the opening night for the Jackson County Fair. That's the crowning. But the young ladies who are trying out for Fair Queen, I know there's always interest in this, they are Jacqueline Gillen, Jenna Lewis, Ivy Gentry, Elizabeth Allison, Jasmine Clarkson, Jennifer Meldick, and Olivia Moore. And they're from all over the county. So good luck to all those girls. They will be picking a queen and 2 attendants, I'm almost sure. All right. The grade level attendants for grades 9 and 10, that will also, they'll go in order of grades 3 and 4 all the way up through the queen. But the grades 9 and 10 attendants are Alicia Zorns, Rebecca Shaw, Ava Sheeter, and Natalie Allison. Those are 4 people competing for one spot.
Okay.
The 7th and 8th grade contestants, there are only 2, Katie Ross and Emma Butts. The youngest contestants, grades 5 and 6, those contestants are Michaela Davidson, Bobby Browning, Peyton Johnson, Nevaeh Hightower, and Abigail Cooper. That's grades 5 and 6 contestants. The grades 3 and 4 contestants are Meredith McKee, Maddie Lynn McKee, Mariana McKee, and McKinley Carper. And if you're wondering, the McKees are all sisters.
Yes.
Right. They are the daughters of our own Matt McKee.
Matt McKee, yes.
Right. He's got a 75% chance of getting a girl in there. I figured it out. Got the computer out. So that's very interesting, too. So all those girls, what a big weekend for them, whether it's in MacArthur at the Wild Turkey Festival or here in Jackson County for the Jackson County Fair Queen. Remember, the Jackson County Fair, it's a ways away. It is in mid-July. I believe the dates are like the 15th through the 24th or something, because, they actually say that they start on the harness racing night, which is on Friday.
It's typically, the Friday before.
Usually Friday. I haven't seen the
Saturday
schedule, but that's what they've done in the past, in recent years. And they go all the way through the weekend, and then through the next week all the way through Saturday. So we'll be, of course, talking a lot more about that later on. But this is different. They have done those fair pageants in early June before on different nights. And so this, I think one of the reasons they're doing it, there's not much of a turnaround time between when you get picked and when you become the queen. And, there's things you need to get, clothes and like
That's
that
right.
and all like that, and get your house in order before you are going to reign over the fair. All right. Well, who else is excited too? There's just so much stuff going on that's good. The Vinton County Marching Band is in the magical land of Disney World.
What?
They are.
How fun.
And on Tuesday evening, you can see on the video, they marched in the Magic Kingdom Parade. That is an iconic experience. If you do that, we've had local bands do that before, but you can imagine what that like. Marching in front of all those people, and in the background you've got Cinderella's castle there, and all the visual things that make Disney World and those parks a very special place. But the band was there yesterday. They are in the Disney complex visiting the parks most of this week. They're coming back at the end of the week.
So glad for them.
And the wonderful thing about it is that, these things just don't happen because the school lets them happen. You have to raise the funds. And a lot of times,
absolutely,
a group like the Band Boosters, in this case in Vinton County, they have to figure out the way, along with the kids themselves, to raise money to be able to go. And the Vinton County Band is a big one, about 90 members. So that's a chunk of change to be able to pay your way to go down there. And I don't think they let the band in free totally just because they're performing. But, you do have the opportunity to go and, talk about an experience you'll never forget. I think probably all of our 4 local bands have been there at least once. I know the Jackson Band, I can remember 2 times. I know Oak Hill's been there. Wellston is going next week.
Oh, great.
So they will cover the same path that the Vinton County Band did yesterday.
Everybody should get to see Disney at least once, and it is a magical place, and
no place like it.
No, and every human should get to see it.
Right.
Because it's like a whole different world.
Right. It is something. And remember when it all started back in 1971, I think it was, there was the Magic Kingdom, and that's still kind of like the main park.
Sure.
But now they've got all these other parks that are special too, Epcot, the Animal Kingdom, MGM, and all of them have, they have their own theme and their own rides and characters and all like that.
That's right.
It is you don't have to be a kid to enjoy Disney World.
Absolutely not.
I wasn't paid to say that, but
it's true.
This older kid has been there a number of times, and it is special.
So fun.
Is that where you're going on your vacation in a couple weeks, Pete?
No, I'm not going to Disney World this year. But I will say this: if you go to Disney World, you need to like people because you're going to run into a few of them.
See a lot of them.
Listen, do a little extra fundraising and pay for that, whatever that Fast Pass thing is, and just do it that way.
Right. Well, even the Fast Pass, now you even do that in advance. There's people that
you got to be really organized and prepared.
Right. It helps to be electronically literate as well.
Correct.
All right. Well, let's swing back to Jackson County, Ohio, and Wellston.
Okay.
Because the Wellston High School Art Club has finished its 3rd mural, community mural. And this was at the school board meeting on last Monday evening, where the members of the art club and the art teacher on the left, that is the art teacher, Jacob Dawkins. He is the advisor, of course, to the art club. He is there with 3 of the art club members who were very important in making these murals happen, particularly the 3rd one. You've got that's okay. You've got Grace Plummer, who was in that picture. You've got Madeline Weber, and the 3rd young lady is Audrey Comer. And Audrey Comer was the one who came up with the design for the latest mural. Now we'll show you that mural. There it is. It is on the building by Brennan's Pizzeria. That is the former Giovanni's Pizza on South Pennsylvania Avenue. Now, isn't that striking? The art club now, in the course of 1 year, has done 3 murals. Talk about a great public civic service beautification project. And, and you're also doing art. You're just not doing something and you hang it up at the art festival and then you stick it in a drawer somewhere. It's there forever. Isn't that great?
That is amazing.
And this is the 3rd one. There's also one where the old post office cafe used to be, one of the walls there, and also downtown in Wellston, where Daisy's Hometown Coffee Shop is, just across the street from there, where the 2nd mural is. And so they will be there hopefully forever. They don't have a 4th mural planned, but they know they're going to do it someday.
Good.
So congratulations to Jacob Dawkins and those students who made that happen.
Good for them.
I know
Love
Grace
it.
Plummer. I did a story when they first did the murals. She's a junior now at Wellston High School. She had the idea to not only have an art club, but to do these murals. And she went so far as to get funding through a community connector program of the Foundation of Appalachia, Ohio, to help pay for it. So really some great resolve and initiative to make that happen. Right. And they've got the fever now and they want to keep doing murals.
It's addictive, I would think.
All right. Now, you do know that it is an honor to be a Kentucky Colonel, right?
Yes.
And do you know that you can be from Ohio and be a Kentucky Colonel?
No.
Well, you can. We've got a few of them up here. The latest one to become a Kentucky Colonel is our good friend, County Commissioner Paul Haller.
Very cool.
He was recently presented this, and it actually wasn't in his role as commissioner so much as it was all he's done for veterans.
Yes.
And the Buckeye Hero Hunt, that is the organized deer hunt they have. It's statewide. They do it up in Vinton County every year, and it's for the disabled veterans who would have trouble, doing a hunt on their own, obviously, because of their physical limitations.
Right.
And Paul Haller was one of the wheels in the Buckeye Hero Hunt making that happen. And some of the folks who organized the Buckeye Hero Hunt got him, did what they needed to do to have him commissioned as a Kentucky colonel recently.
That's awesome.
There in the photo with him are Robin Johnson. She is the post commander of the American Legion 371 in Wellston. And the other gentleman, that's Paul Haller in the middle. The other gentleman is Jerry Collins, who is one of the leaders of the Buckeye Hero Hunt. He's also from Wellston. And so can't tell you who all the Kentucky colonels are, but there's not that many of them, and it is a great honor to be a Kentucky colonel. Much more than just fried chicken.
I think so.
Actually, it's not about fried chicken at all.
Not at all.
All right. This is the weekend, Jennifer. Remember, we had our friends in earlier this week, Fiddler on the Roof.
Yes.
I tell you, that is an award-winning play. We had a story where we had the cast members in costume. I know a couple of them were in here in costume, I think.
They were.
I mean, that's striking in and of itself.
Yes.
And the play is this weekend. Charity Potter will have the Drama Club at work for 3 different performances, Friday and Saturday evening, 7 p.m. at Wellston High School, and then Sunday afternoon at 2 p.m. Tickets are $5 for general seating. If you want to get a better seat and a reserve seat, that will cost you $10. The reserve seating is available only at the Wellston Middle School office. So obviously you have today and tomorrow to get to the middle school to buy your reserve seats if you're getting them there. But in town, you can also get them at the high school, and you can also get them downtown at the Rusted Barn and Daisy's Hometown Coffee Shop. So I suppose you can go in there on Saturday if those stores are open and get a reserved ticket as late as then.
Yeah, and it's going to be really, really amazing. So please support the kids. They work so hard.
Right, it is, and they practiced for a long time to get ready for 3 nights.
Since December.
Or 3 performances.
Oh, there they are, right here when they came to visit.
Right, they are. Okay.
Very
Love that
cute.
beard, right?
I know, so cute.
All right, once again, we're still in Wellston for another story. And there was a woman who graduated from Wellston High School some years ago. Her name is Peggy Patterson Williams. Patterson was her maiden name. That's how some folks in Wellston may know her. She doesn't live in Wellston anymore, hasn't for a while, but she is a children's author.
Okay.
And her latest book is Like a Turtle Loves His Shell. She is going to read that book at the Sylvester Memorial Wellston Public Library this Monday at 10:30 a.m. They have story time where they have book readings and like that. Well, this one is extra special because it is an author who graduated from Wellston High School and is proud to be a Wellston High School alum. And so Peggy Patterson Williams will be there at 10:30 to read from that book, her own book that she wrote, Like a Turtle Loves His Shell. Aww. She will also be selling copies and signing copies. That's exciting both for her and for the library and for the kids who get the opportunity, hopefully, to hear from her that day. Okay, we're still in Wellston. The Main Street organization, which, was formed several years ago to generate interest in the downtown, in the historic district in particular, to get more commercial activity to support the business owners down there, to get more business owners down there, to get people down there to do events, public events. The Main Street people, they do the 4th of July, they do the Christmas celebration and so forth. Well, they've come up with a new idea to get people downtown in May, on Saturdays in May as the weather improves, they hope. They are going to conduct each Saturday of the month, except for May the 14th, they're not doing it on that day, what they call Food Truck Month. And they're going to have food trucks parked downtown in front of some of the stores.
Well, that's fun.
So, you go downtown to visit stores like the Rusted Barn and Daisy's Hometown Coffee Shop, just to name 2. Many other stores down there as well. But on each of these Saturdays, May the 7th, May the 21st, and May the 28th, there will be a different food truck parked downtown. One day it'll be Gaddy's Pizza. Another day it will be Smokin' Butts BBQ. Another day it will be Richard's Taco. And the food truck thing is really starting to get popular. You see more and more of them. So you just not only get a chance to maybe visit some of these stores, but to get some dish or food that you don't normally get the chance to get.
Sure.
And people like, those new culinary experiences.
That's right.
So that will be going on, once again, 3 Saturdays in May, the 7th, the 21st, and the 28th. 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. will be the hours that the food truck or trucks will be there. All right. We do want to let you folks know down Oak Hill Way, the Oak Hill Union Local Board of Education was to have met last yesterday evening. They were not able to do that for some reason. I'm not sure why. They postponed the meeting and moved it to next Wednesday, April the 27th. So if you have interest in the school board and what they're doing, you want to attend for whatever reason, that meeting was moved from last night to next Wednesday evening at 5:30 at the Oak Hill High School Middle School Library. All right. Okay. We had Ted Witham here, and we need to remind you, since it's been a while since he's here, there will be Guns in the Woods again starting this Saturday.
That's right.
The wild turkey season for adults for the wild turkey hunters in this area, because they zone it in the state of Ohio. Yeah. The season starts at a different time if you're in the north, and you're in the south. It starts earlier down here. We're in the southern zone, of course. The season will start Saturday, April the 23rd. We've already had the youth season.
Yes.
And
don't walk through the woods and gobble.
Okay. No, you don't want to answer another gobble.
I mean, don't do it, man.
It might be somebody toting a shotgun and in camouflage gear.
I know you're really enticed to do.
What do the mushroom hunters do, for God's sake?
Do not gobble when you're walking through the woods, I promise.
Murals are nice, but you might maybe think twice, all right? Especially if you see a flash of hunter orange go through there. But anyway, the season starts on April the 23rd. It's not funny now. There's a gobble.
Thanks. James, is there a turkey in here?
Don't you feel sorry for that poor turkey that thinks that maybe they're going to get to mate and instead they're going to meet up with a shotgun?
Yeah, it's really, it's not fair, is it?
No. Okay.
Hey, listen, after talking with Ted, I didn't feel so bad for the turkeys because they're way smarter than we humans are.
Okay, well.
For sure.
For whatever reason, the numbers are actually down a little bit.
Because they're smart.
Or I don't know, the hunters are doing too good, I'm not sure. But that season, it starts on April the 23rd, and it will go through Sunday, May the 22nd. It is, once again, we are in the South Zone, and the limit is 1 bearded wild turkey. So it's not like you can keep going back and back again. A turkey must be checked no later than 11:30 p.m. the day of the harvest. That's the euphemism word they use when you kill a turkey. It's a harvest. So
it's a harvest.
That's the 23rd through the 22nd for wild turkey season.
Gotcha.
All right. We do want to follow up on the story about Dexter Redeker. He is the gymnast. I might not have said his name correctly, but he lives in Jackson, actually. Didn't graduate from Jackson High School. He was homeschooled.
Yes.
So a lot of folks just did not know him. They may know the family.
Very
but of course,
talented.
He had a great career at Ohio State in gymnastics. They went to the national championships. And the Ohio State men's gymnastics team in the NCAA championships last weekend finished 5th. And Dexter finished up his college career with a score of 13.200 in the vault, which was very good. And the Buckeyes actually placed 2nd in the qualifier on Friday to advance to the championship round on Saturday. They didn't win on Saturday, but they did get at least into the championship round. And Dexter was a big part of that.
Cool.
And he is a young man from Jackson. If you want to know what he's doing after graduation, there he is right there. He is going to get a job in business. He's going to graduate with business finance and real estate degree in May, and he plans to work in the Columbus area in that field starting this summer. So congratulations to him. Okay, on the softball, baseball front, the first thing we'll do, we will congratulate the Wellston High School softball team who've won 2 more games this weekend. They are 10-0 now. And this
They're scary.
This
They're
young lady
good.
in particular is Hannah Potts. Hannah, all she did was toss a no-hitter against Vinton County.
Wow.
She went up on the road against a decent Vinton County team and pitched a no-hitter. And so that was the highlight of their win over Vinton County, and then they believe they beat Athens last night, so they are up to 10-0.
Man.
I am regretting to report that the Jackson Ironmen have lost a game.
I know.
It happened last night. I was there. Dan Morrow was there. James Hamilton was there. Rodney Tomlin was there. Now, James was there and Rodney was there mainly because we wanted to try something new, and it turned out to be a success. So we'll talk about that. That's the good part of last night's game. We video streamed it.
Awesome.
On the Total Media Facebook page. We didn't really advertise we were going to do that because we didn't know how it would go. But by golly, it went. It went great. While we were doing the radio, you could hear our voice on the Facebook, so it was like video radio kind of, along with the regular radio.
Wow.
And that video is posted, by the way, on the Total Media Facebook page. You can go back and see the whole game now. It was a great game, although the result was not favorable. Washington Courthouse 4, Jackson 3 in 8 innings.
Yep.
Now, this wasn't a slip up by the Ironmen. I know Coach McGraw doesn't like to lose any games.
No.
But Washington Courthouse came to Jackson with only 1 loss all season. Jackson had not lost any games.
Yep.
Courthouse, very good team, very good pitcher. Their starting pitcher was named Tanner LeMaster. He is going to the University of Kentucky to play football next year.
Oh.
Great 3-sport athlete, and he's a great baseball player too.
Wow.
He had struck out a lot of the Ironmen. Now, Bryson Brown struck out a lot. Our pitcher struck out a lot of the Courthouse batters too, and it just came down to Courthouse being able to push across a couple runs in the 8th inning. Remember, in high school, they play 7 innings.
Okay.
So we were in sudden death then in the 8th inning, and Courthouse scored 2 runs. Jackson was able to score 1 in the bottom half of the inning, but they fell 1 run short. So Jackson now 9-1 on the season.
Well,
1-1 in
that's
the Frontier Athletic Conference.
Pretty darn good.
Still darn good. Early in the season, they will play Washington Courthouse later. They will have to go there this time. Miami Trace has not lost a game this year either. They're in the Frontier Athletic Conference, unless they lost last night. I haven't heard the score. Jackson plays there on Friday, and then today, Courthouse and Miami Trace play. So these 3 top teams are facing each other.
It's a triangle.
Right. And that's the way it looks right now. It's still early. We don't want to discount the other teams, but right now, the way it looks, those 3 teams are all very, very good enough to be championship caliber teams. But obviously, unless there's a 3-way tie, there's only 1 trophy there.
Well, that's the hard part is, when they have to play each other, somebody has to win and somebody has to lose. So, it's just got to happen at some point.
It was one of those ones where you could honestly say, even though you're a fan, it was just a great baseball game all the way around, and it was a shame that somebody had to lose. We knew that it wasn't very far into the game where we knew it would be one of those ones where it would be real close and somebody would be walking away very disappointed.
Yeah.
But tonight, the Jackson Ironmen have a chance to wash away, the bad feelings of a loss. They will be hosting Chillicothe. This game was not on the regular schedule for this date. It was supposed to have been played Monday.
Yep.
Weather. Supposed to have been played a makeup game Tuesday. Field conditions and 40 degrees and wind.
Yep.
And so, they were able to play as scheduled yesterday against Washington Courthouse, but the Chillicothe game now has been moved to tonight.
Okay.
Now, we will be there again on the radio, and I understand, James, are we streaming? Yes, we are.
He says yes.
I'm not saying that will happen every game because that is a commitment by those guys to spend their time to do that, but it is certainly an enhancement, to say the least. And the great opportunity is, in addition, to seeing some of the action with more than 1 camera, I might add, is that you can go back and see the whole doggone thing later or a certain highlight of the game or whatever. That's what I did when I came back here to the office last night. I knew where some of the key points of the game was. I wanted to see, did I see that right, or I wanted to see that catch again. And, Rodney and James just did a great job making that happen. And once again, this is just another example of what Total Media is doing to bring to cover things even better than ever, and in more ways than we have before.
Hey, can I tell on you, Pete? You had one. You had one call last night that I thought was funny. So it was like a full. So there's like a full count, and he throws it in there, and you're like strike 3, and the umpire calls it a ball, and Dan goes, "Pete, you can't broadcast and umpire at the same time."
Yeah, lesson learned.
I can see
that's
Pete and the umpire
just
getting into it.
That's the umpire's job. And last night those pitches were so good, very, very few walks or whatever. And obviously it's not an exact science. The umpires are human too. The pitches are very close, but he or she does have the best view, definitely. And whatever the strike zone is, the strike zone is. But it was well umpired last night.
Yeah. Well, that was just some great comedic timing between
That's
you two.
That's fantastic. I really love it.
Right. The umpire last night was a favorable one because he gave his signals on strikes and he bellowed, strike 3, strike 2. And so that really helps you if you're back there. If you're back there broadcasting, you don't like the ones where it's a delayed call and you think it's a ball, but then they say strike. But they say that about 2 or 3 seconds late.
You're like, come on,
Pete,
on with it.
Pete, you can't be a radio announcer and umpire both. By the way,
okay. Now,
all right, now Rodney's saying it.
I'm really getting ganged up on that.
Ooh, poor Pete.
So last night, I heard Dan say it at least 3 times. If he said it, none. Maybe more, but he said, Pete, you can't be the umpire.
Well, let me tell you, okay, you know what I can't do and shouldn't do? Let me tell you what Rodney Tomlin can do. He can produce this video production and eat a hot dog at the same time.
Oh, now that is
and James can run camera and fix all my problems at the same time. I tell you what, big shout out to James Hammy. We decided that he is instead of the backbone of this operation, he is the ham bone of the operation. If it wasn't for this guy right here, great equipment. He's got a great mind, man.
No, he does. He's awesome.
Big pat on the back. James is going to help take this Main Street TV big places.
All right. Well, thank you, Rodney, once again for your part in that as well.
Hey, not a problem. Hey, sorry to screw everything up for you guys.
Not screwing anything up.
We did go off script a little bit, didn't we?
Just a little bit.
No, there's never a script, so if you're wondering.
Yeah, we're never prepared. It's fine. We just go with it, don't we, Pete?
Right. There's not one of those teleprompters out there for us, is there? There probably should be, but there isn't.
Exactly.
Maybe that's coming.
Maybe that'll be next. All right. Well, no, and thank you for that, and thank you and Dan for broadcasting those games, those home games.
We love doing it. And baseball is one of my favorite sports. Going back to the first Cincinnati Reds game I watched on television.
Love it.
I think baseball is great. And we got a great team.
We do.
So that makes it better.
That does make it better. And thank you to James because he's awesome.
Absolutely.
With a capital awesome.
You're welcome.
Oh, he's turning red.
He is. All right. Okay. Let's do the weather because it is a little bit all over the place, but it's looking pretty good. Today, some rain in the forecast, but highs today of 67 degrees. Now look at the weekend. Finally. And the crowd goes wild. Yeah, Friday, some sunshine, highs of 74. And then look at Saturday and Sunday, highs of 84 both days. And I see that little sunshine in the forecast. So we are just pumped.
That is great. That is maybe the first time we've been in the 80s.
And and to have 3 days in a row of good weather, maybe some sunshine, we're not going to know what to do with ourselves.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Spring has sprung.
Maybe, hopefully. All right. Well, have a wonderful day, everyone. Thank you, Pete, for all that you do. And thank you for spending your morning with us. I know you're busy. And thanks to James for pushing all the right buttons. And we appreciate him as well. So have a wonderful day. And we'll see you right back here tomorrow with our friends from the Wild Turkey Festival. Bye-bye.